Conjugare, Centro Português de Apoio à Pesquisa Científica e à Cultura. Acreditamos que as ciências e as artes mudam o mundo. O conhecimento transforma, e isso nos motiva. 14ª Jornada Virtual Internacional em Pesquisa Científica, com o tema Educação, Cultura e Poder.
Hello everyone, my name is Cristina Benedetti and I am a doctoral student in education at the University of Caxias do Sul in Brazil, and I am also a master in education and a teacher in basic education. Today I'm honored to present my research titled Research as an Educational Principle in Action, the bilingual mock trial as a formative experience in basic education. This presentation discusses an educational experience developed in a bilingual private school in southern Brazil, where I worked with middle school students in an interdisciplinary project that integrated digital citizenship, English language learning, and critical thinking. The context of this purpose is based on the facts that in the recent years, debates about the quality of education have emphasized the need for methodologies that foster student autonomy, investigation, critical thinking, and connection with contemporary issues. Within this context, the idea of research as an educational principle, as proposed by Paulo Freire and Pedro Demo, offers a powerful alternative to traditional transmission-based teaching. The main goal of this work is to present and analyze a classroom experience, a bilingual mock trial conducted in English where students investigated a fictional digital crime case. This activity combined the subjects of English and digital creation and was based on the principles of active learning and research-led education. This research is grounded in the ideas of Paulo Freire, who reminds us that teaching is not transferring knowledge, but creating the conditions for its production, a process that requires curiosity, critical thinking, and dialogue. Pedro Demo also states that educating through research means forming autonomous learners who can produce knowledge rather than simply reproduce it. Interdisciplinarity is essential in this approach, and according to Fazenda, explains that interdisciplinarity is not just about combining contexts but building bridges between subjects and people through cooperation and dialogue. In bilingual education, these principles take on unique forms. According to Garcia, Johnson, and Seltzer, 2017, when students use the additional language as a tool for accessing knowledge, not just learning grammar, they engage in authentic interaction, develop critical thinking, and strengthen their linguistic agency. For that, the methodology of this study is part of an exploratory and interpretative research project developed during my master's program. It focuses on how the principle of research can be concretely practiced in basic education. A case study was conducted in a bilingual school in southern Brazil. The selected experience was a mock trial project carried out with 12 to 14 years old students in middle school. It involved the subjects of English and digital creation, as I already said. The data was collected through participant observation, photographs, students' materials, and a field journal. The analysis followed the method of discursive textual analysis, by Moraes and Galeazzi, which allowed us to understand the meanings attributed by students to their experiences. All ethical guidelines were respected according to Brazilian research regulations. I'm gonna describe for you a little bit how was the mock trial process. The mock trial experience lasted 10 lessons. Students began by studying digital citizenship, including topics like privacy, online safety, ethics on social media, and Brazilian's general data protection law. They were invited to create a fictional digital crime case that was socially relevant and age appropriate. They researched the legal context and the structure of trials, and they learned how to present arguments and behave in a courtroom setting. Each student chose a role such as judge, lawyer, defendant, witness, or communications officer, according to their interests. All planning, preparation, and the final trial were conducted in English, used as a lingua franca, or a second language. On the final day, students conducted the entire trial in real time without knowing each other's argument in advance. This required improvised language use, critical reasoning, and collaboration, all in a second language. It was really challenging. This experience illustrates how to mock trial embodies research as a formative principle. Students investigated, questioned, and created something meaningful through collaborative effort. Exactly the kind of active engagement Freire and Demo defend. The interdisciplinary aspect was not only formal between English and digital creation, but also thematic. Digital citizenship requires the integration of legal, ethical, technological, and linguistic knowledge. In the field of bilingual education, this project moves beyond traditional grammar instruction. It positions language as a social practice and a tool for meaningful interaction. As Garcia and colleagues say, students learn language by doing things with language. Furthermore, students showed high levels of engagement and responsibility. They were co-authors of the experience, which resonates with active learning principles. According to Batik and Mohan, these methodologies promote critical thinking, collaboration, and real-world problem solving. So, in conclusion, the mock trial was more than a didactic strategy. It was a formative experience. It brought together language, critical thinking, citizenship, and collaborative knowledge production. The use of English as a lingua franca allowed the students to communicate meaningfully and access knowledge beyond the boundaries of their first language. The integration of different disciplines mirrored the real-life complexity and helped the students become more autonomous, ethical, and critical learners. This work reaffirms that school's role as a space for creation and experimentation where students can exercise authorship and agency. As Freire and Demo reminds us, education must prepare people to intervene in the world with critical awareness and ethical commitment. Moving forward, I believe it's important to continue exploring how bilingual and interdisciplinary practices can empower students to become active participants in society. Teacher training and curriculum design must support this vision of research-led, critical, and student-centered education. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or would like to learn more about this experience, feel free to contact me. I hope this example inspires new ways of teaching and learning in our schools.
Realização, Conjugare, Centro Português de Apoio à Pesquisa Científica e à Cultura. Apoio, Editora Cravo. Inscreva-se no canal, comente, curta e compartilhe. Obrigado por assistir.